In this video I want to take a look at buying property for cash and what are the advantages. Now, I've previously done a property video about buying property for cash, and you'll find it somewhere on my channel, but I just thought I'd do an updated one. Today is the first day of January, actually, 2021, and I know a lot of people are going to be buying property obviously and looking to buy property in the coming year and so on and so forth. But what I'm going to discuss here is my observations and sort of general principles around buying property for cash. There's three huge advantages, I believe, if you are lucky enough and fortunate enough to be a cash buyer. The first heading of advantage would be speed and certainty. Firstly, you know where you stand in terms of what you can afford. You're not waiting for the bank to look at a valuation survey. You're not looking for the bank to have a look at your earnings, your wage slips, your self-employed income for 3 years, 5 years. You don't have to jump through any hoops for the bank or for a lender, clearly. That's a big advantage from your perspective. But it's a big advantage from the perspective of the vendor as well, because the vendor knows that if you can come to an agreement, then you'll be in a position to move and move quickly on the property. You're not waiting for a bank. You don't have to fulfill any requirements in relation to life assurance, home insurance, property valuation, and so on. There's no loan pack to go out. There's no solicitor to worry about that either. So there's speed obviously involved there, and there's certainty. The second part of the sort of speed and certainty advantage that I see is that if you do come to an arrangement with a vendor, then you can move quickly to not just go sale agreed, but to complete the purchase. So again, the whole thing is going to be shortened if necessary, if it suits both parties. And it may or may not suit the vendor, but you'd have to assume that if a vendor puts a property on the market, then they probably want to sell it fairly quickly and move on to do whatever they're going to do. So that's the first broad heading of advantage I see with a cash buyer, the certainty and speed. The second broad advantage, or category of advantage, is to do with the property itself and to do with any problems with the property. If there's any problems with the property as to its structural integrity or planning or title or any of those things, if there's any problems in general, then if there's a bank involved, the bank would have to be advised and the bank would have to approve, because the solicitor acting for the purchaser will be looking to qualify his or her undertaking to the bank. A cash buyer doesn't have that worry, doesn't have that concern, doesn't have to worry about what the bank will say or do. The cash buyer can overlook the problems to the property. That may not be a wise thing to do, but he can if he wants to, or she can if she wants to. The problems, as I say, could be to do with title, could be to do with access, could be to do with planning, could be to do with the structure of the property itself, could be to do with any work that might be required on the property in the future. All of these things a bank will be concerned about, whereas a cash purchaser doesn't have to worry about those, because the cash purchaser is to a great extent his own bank. So, you know, the property then will have or may have problems. For example, a very small planning problem might be a small extension porch or something out the back or out the front, or maybe an unauthorised garden shed or something. They're relatively minor planning problems. However, there could be bigger planning problems. For example, the conversion of an attic which doesn't comply with building regulations. If that's the situation, it's a much more serious thing, and the purchaser's solicitor will be writing to the bank looking to qualify title. So that again, problems with the property is the second broad range of problems, or broad range of advantages that I see a cash purchaser having. The third broad range of advantages I see with a cash purchaser will be to do with the estate agent or auctioneer. He or she will recognise, if she is an experienced estate agent, the value and the benefit of having a genuine cash buyer. And let's face it, the estate agent only gets paid when the sale closes, just like a solicitor. So it's in the estate agent's interest and it's in the solicitor's interest that the sale will close. If you have a cash purchaser, then the sale should be able to close, all else being equal, and you certainly don't have to worry about the bank pulling the plug or not being satisfied with the valuation or something of that nature. So the cash purchaser will find that he has a friend in the estate agent, even though the estate agent's client is the vendor, even though the estate agent does not act for the purchaser. It's likely that the estate agent will be putting forward the cash purchaser's offer and the benefits and advantages of dealing with a cash purchaser versus perhaps a potential purchaser who has loan approval, or may only have loan approval in principle, or may have to get loan approval. So that's the value. So 3 broad categories of advantages for a cash purchaser. Certainty and speed. He's able to, or she's able to move quickly to go sale agreed and to complete the purchase. Secondly, problems with the property. The cash purchaser can overlook them. It mightn't be wise to overlook them, but he can overlook them and he can remedy them later on if they are capable of being remedied. That may not be the case, but that's another day's work. That gives him an advantage. Problems with the property, he can overlook them, and the estate agent essentially will be putting forward with a fair degree of favour the bid and the benefits, as I say, of working with and dealing with and going sale agreed with the cash purchaser. Hope you find this video useful. If you do, I'd appreciate if you gave it the thumbs up down below, and you may be interested in subscribing to my YouTube channel. Thanks a lot.